we are now jumping to the risk assessment, okay? And I hope that thinking about how important it is for you to take care of yourself, you can now start thinking about making a risk assessment of a note that you're going to cover, whether you're going to interview or you're going to photograph. Or even if someone sends you a note and you're editing, and you know the kind of work that person does, for example, especially with photography, be prepared for it. Be prepared sometimes to have some gruesome images at you, okay? In this case, we're gonna focus on, this is for the online abuse, and it's to somehow make the difference between trollings and real risk, real people who's really dangerous. Trollers, they just want notoriety. They're jealous of you, and they just want to conflict you in writing things against you because they want to jump into your box of success, into your box of notoriety. But there are others that can threaten you, okay? So, for example, to make the difference between an online abuse, between a troller and someone that really presents a physical threat to you. And the troller can be very devastating because it's psychological violence anyhow, okay? But just to make sure that your life is not a threat, you need to make some questions into your mind. Are they attacking your gender, your ethnicity, your sexual orientation, your profession, or socioeconomical level? If yes, is this person part of the extremist group? Does this person seem highly educated? Does the abuse contain sexual threats? Does the abuse contain comments about your gender and ethnicity or sexual orientation? For every yes, there's a point, okay? Are they frequently sending violent messages? In general, trolls are going to be sending a lot of messages, a lot of them, because what they want is notoriety. And that they're going to do it especially during the weekends or at the night, because they are already drunk or have some drug on them, okay? While real threats for your physical security are going to be more specific and they're not going to talk much. They're going to warn once or twice. Is the online abuser threatening to do something, or are they directly threatening your life? If so, how much this person knows about you? For example, do they have specific information about your location, about your home address? Does the abuser have information about your family, photos or contact details? Do they have an idea of your daily routine, when you work or when you go shopping? And if so, make sure that this information is not online, that you didn't post it online. If you post it online, they are using what they could find about you. But if there's something there that you never posted online, then the threat to your life is higher, okay? In the case of trolling, if you see that they are looking for attention, you give 1 point to trolling. If the attacker discloses personal information about you that is found in your publication, 1 point for trolling. There are non-specific threats, 1 point for trolling. If they are attacking your gender, your race, your ethnicity, your sexual identity, or your profession, then it's 2 points for targeted online abuse, which is more risky. If the frequency of the message is very frequent, is 1 point for trolling. If it's not, then it's 2 points for targeted online abuse. Specific attacks against you, attacker disclose personal information, 3 points. Specific threats, 3 points. The higher the score, the more you are going to be in a real danger. Okay, so I hope this helps you see in general how much of a threat you're having. All right. And wait a second, because for some reason this went elsewhere. Okay, I think my presentation stopped. Chat, did my presentation stop? Because I cannot see things clearly now.
Your presentation has stopped, and we see you now on the screen, your face.
Okay. I don't know why that happened. Let me go back to present. Thank you very much. So the more points, the more risks you are. And you can do this with every situation, okay? With every threat that you receive, you can do this as assessment. If you have a great risk, again, contact IWMF, contact OPC, so that they can help you dealing with this situation and put you in a safe circumstance. I want you to think of the most risk and or moving situation you've ever been as a journalist. A note that really moved you, that it was hard to shake it off, or that it was really risky for you. And I want you to think, what have you done differently in that situation? Let me explain why I'm saying this. A trauma is not the situation that you live itself. It's the encounter of that risky situation, of it's a situation that puts your integrity at risk, with the assessment that you do, that you did it wrong, that you didn't answer properly to that situation, that you didn't know how to put yourself in a safe place. And a very simple example that doesn't have to do with journalists, but that is very easy to see, an earthquake, okay? If in Mexico City, there are earthquakes almost every day, little ones and big ones almost every once a year, okay? Huge ones, funny enough, and thank you enough, it's like every 12 years, but still there are big ones every year, okay? If you know what to do, you're gonna move. Once you hear the alarm, you're gonna move, you're gonna get out, and you're gonna be safe. And it's not gonna be traumatic. But if you don't know what to do, I once had a friend from Minneapolis that came to visit me, and he was staying in the hotel, and it was in the 85. It was a long time ago. I'm an old person, I'm 62. And he was in the hotel. He was traumatized by it because it was the huge earthquake that made half of Mexico City fall down, okay? And he was traumatized because he didn't know what to do about it. It was the first time in his life that he has ever lived an earthquake. And he was telling me, I was watching the news and I was saying, no, that this didn't happen here. This didn't happen to me. So he presented a trauma because he didn't know what to do. So when I ask, what have you done differently? I want you to think what you did wrong. And I say wrong with quotes because it's not that you did it wrong. It's that you didn't know how to manage it mostly, okay? Or you didn't do anything wrong. Simply you assess that you did. For example, I had a journalist that was kidnapped with his whole team, and they were kidnapped with another team also, two teams from two different TVs in my country, and they were kidnapped. And he was the one in charge to deal with the organized crime people who had them, and to make the negotiations to let them free. And he was so successful that the mobsters told him, oh, Güerito, you should come live with us because you're so nice. You should come work with us. We really like you. So he was very successful, and they were freed, all of them intact, without being hurt. So what he did wrong? Nothing. But he had this huge post-traumatic stress disorder. And one day we were in therapy and he was telling me things, and then he suddenly stopped, punched the chair he was at, and said, I felt fear. I am not myself anymore. That's what he thought he did wrong. I had never, ever felt fear before. And now I don't know who I am. Okay, so for anybody, that wasn't wrong, right? He was obviously, he did everything right. And he was obviously going to feel fear for him and for others. There was no way he couldn't feel fear. But for him, that's what he did wrong. So I want you to take the time and think, what have you done differently? What did you do wrong at that time if you did wrong, something that you assess it was not the proper thing? How can you improve from that learning experience for the next time?